everyone, good afternoon, and thanks for coming. We are Magda and Rachel Zuanon from Brazil. We are researchers at TVDi Design Lab, a laboratory focused on the research and development of applications for interactive digital television located at Anhembi Morumbi University in São Paulo. Today we are going to present design perspectives for the development of interactive educative applications, a small piece of a major research that we have been developing in the areas of design, education, and interactive digital television. To start our presentation, it's important to say that in analogical television, communication between viewers and the television was performed in a single directional way. That is, only one emitter pole of information transmitted information, and any dialogue possibility between viewers and broadcasters was not possible. And with television signal digitalization, besides images and sounds in high definition, one of the main advances in digital telesystems is the possibility of interactivity. In analogical digital television, the role of design in the production of content was restricted basically to the visual language field, either programs or advertising videos called television graphics, that is graphic design, lettering, and logos, aimed at creating the natural visual identity to the program or advertise the products, and all kinds of visual elements that overlapped the figurative images caused by cameras. And the interactive digital television creates a new paradigm in which the audience goes beyond for being passive viewers who watch television and only receive information, but don't establish a concrete relation of dialogue with the content. Thus, the teleinteractor combines the characteristics of a viewer and interactor and can be defined as one that, besides watching television, also interacts with its contents. In this context, the designer assumes other roles when pointing solutions to the questions related to users' interactive actions, which go beyond television graphics. Moreover, besides the implicit definitions already present in interactive digital environments projects, such as the organization and translation of interfaces information, the available ways interactors can access those, the levels of interaction in this communication, among the other aspects. Thus, television design faces a new challenge to project interactive digital applications for a medium, that is, the television, that has its own language consolidated over more than 70 years of existence, and that points out, therefore, the necessity of having its main characteristics preserved. And now, the designer assumes one more role, which is to find ways for a possible hybridism between the television language and the interactive digital language in order to cover its main specificities. As we are going to see in the next slide, the video is almost always one of the main materials released in the educative platforms, but generally it is used following the visual and structural standard normally adopted in the websites, in which its area is limited to a small part of the interface, sharing the space with other elements such as texts and images. For example, a public Brazilian TV channel supported by the Ministry of Education called TV Escola. In Portuguese, escola means school, so that is school TV. Focus on broadcasting videos with contents that can either complement teachers' qualification or assist their teaching inside the classroom. On the channel's website, the video shares space and visual weight with a series of other information that haven't got any relation with it, such as the website menu, logo, calendar of events, among the others. On television, a video is shown in its totality, being the only element shown to the viewer. It's very common to see applications in which the TV screen assumes an interface that is structured in a very similar way to the previous example, the website, in which the video is reduced to a small area to give room to other information, following the visual standards of the web. For example, accessing the Shark Weekend, an educative-related application that approaches scientific questions regarding sharks, the video is minimized and the interactor starts to share his attention between the video and the texts, presenting these remaining parts of the interface. In this sense, it's possible to identify two main problems: the distortion of the television language, the segregation of elements displayed by the interface. Therefore, it's not an interaction integrated to the show content. Although the same interface is shared and informed the same subject, the elements are shown in a segregated way. In this sense, the interactive action of the teleinteractor in this kind of application little differs from the action of reading a book while watching television, for example. Vygotsky, in his studies about the complex mental functions or superior mental functions, such as the imagination, the memory, etc., indicates that learning effectively occurs through the complex mediation process and not by the simple act of stimulation-reply, proving that the human being's most important relation with the world is not direct. On the contrary, it's actually mediated through signs and instruments. In turn, Haslutsky talks about the complexity of communication processes in multimediatic environments and points out that lines in the signs generates a mere binary segregation, not taking into account the multidimensionality of the languages which interact in messages production. That means that it's not enough to release information. The way those pieces of information or signs are presented to the audience is extremely important to their learning process. Now, according to Gibbon-Sipp, the projectile humanism would be the exercise of the faculties of design to interpret the social necessities of groups and to elaborate emancipatory viable proposals in the shape of instrumental artifacts and semiotic artifacts. Considering the design role, and according to Halnas and Hedstrom, the decisions we make in the process of design cannot all be reduced to the questions about functionality, usability testing, user requirements, etc. In other words, to expose the aesthetics and aesthetical choices in the design of computational everyday things and environments, we try to disregard functionality as a starting point and work with experimental design centered around the slogan, functionality resides in the expression of things. In this sense, and considering the design project for interactive digital television, it's important to emphasize that besides the important issue of how the interactivity cannot distort the specificities, other issues implicit in the design of any digital application has to be contemplated, such as which actions the teleinteractor will have to perform in order to access the information, how these pieces of information will be organized as interface elements, which visual languages should be adopted in order to be consistent with the art direction of the TV program and translate the information efficiently to the public. All these definitions are articulated in 4 design concepts: information design, interface design, navigation design, and interaction design.